Hi, my name is Boston Jon, and I'm an alcoholic. And today I wanted to talk about if it's possible to get to AA too soon. And what I mean by that is, in theory, it's never too soon to get to AA. But if you're like me, I was sent to AA a couple of times in my life, though in theory it wasn't too soon. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. I didn't feel like I had a problem. I felt like the court systems had really overstepped. There was a sense of embarrassment and shame for me being sent by the courts to AA to get a slip sign. It happened a couple of different times in my life behind, DUIs and arrests and all the rest of it. So just want to say from the outset, it's never too early to go to AA. However, if you're like me, it's possible to arrive too early to do the work. When I first was sent to AA, I had no desire to stop drinking. If you don't have that, forget about it. Obviously, it's too early. But there are other components in life, I feel, that may deem it too early to come in and do AA. When I say do AA, I don't mean simply show up, go to meetings, pour the coffee. That stuff can be done, but I'm not sure that's doing AA. That's doing some service work and getting involved in the peripheral things. But I mean doing AA, I mean grabbing the literature, sitting down and understanding what it's talking about, understanding why it's asking me to do certain things, and understanding what the result will be and why the result will be that way. When I was sent to AA, I was there too early to have any desire to pick up the literature and get to reading or writing and making lists or cleaning house. Forget about it. Not interested. But, I was sent to AA in my 20s, in my 30s. I got here when I was 45 on my own. So what was the difference between my version of myself in my 20s and 30s and the guy that arrived when he was 45? And there's a line in the book that when I came across it, it really meant a lot to me. So it's on page 43, and I think it ties into whether you could be too early in AA to do the work. Most alcoholics have to be pretty badly mangled before they really commence to solve their problems. Problems with an S. That meant a lot to me because when I got to AA in my 40s, I had problems with an S. I was more able to identify them in my 40s than I was in my 20s and 30s. And the damage done had been worse because I kept going, drinking all through my 20s and all through my 30s. I would say what compelled me to get in here on my own was that sentence. At this point in my life, I had been mangled enough by my own decision-making and my own doing that I was ready for AA. I'll sit in meetings sometimes and I'll hear, people share. They may sound like they're ready. They are willing participants in AA, meaning in the work, in the meetings, talking, service work, maybe even getting a sponsor. But I find a lot of times the people with this energy and seemingly enthusiasm for life, enthusiasm for participation in AA does not necessarily carry over to enthusiasm into doing the work. And I'll sit there sometimes and make this inner observation, and I wonder if they're mangled enough yet. I wonder if they feel compelled to get into the work, sit down, take a good hard look at what happened, why are they here, why did it happen, and can I fix it? AA in the literature gives you a way to, first of all, identify all the stuff from the past, where you messed up, poor decision making, how your life had become unmanageable, what do you like in relationships. So I was able to look at all that stuff and get a pretty good idea of what was going on in my life, why it was going on, and AA gave me a way to fix it, or certainly make life more manageable and make my past more palatable, because AA gave me the ability and the direction to be able to go back and address the problems rather than constantly waking up with them, worrying about them, thinking about them, avoiding people. I'm not sure that comes simply by meeting attendance, giving people rides, pouring coffee. I think more needs to be done. And I think it takes a certain amount of mangling before someone is ready to go, you know what, let me give this a try. So I guess the question is, not only are you have the desire to stop drinking, but do you have the desire to get into the work, clean up your past, and put yourself in a position where going forward, your life is more manageable, you're better at relationships, and the desire to drink leaves you. I think mostly through getting right, cleaning house, and running stuff through something that is more powerful, more moral, and capable of better judgment than we are. For me, that's a higher power. The higher power being something that is completely moral, knows the difference between right and wrong. And if I run things against that concept and that idea, and I'm willing to execute what I think that power wants from me, AA, the literature of the alcoholics that have done the work, tell me that things will get better. And I'm here to tell you that that's what's happened for me. But I wasn't capable, I wasn't willing to even explore what the work was in my 20s and 30s. I didn't want to hear it. It wasn't until I was mangled enough in my 40s that I got sick and tired of my own life and the results of everything, and I was able to take a good hard look. Only at that point, my ass was whipped enough, was I able and willing to get into the literature, grab another guy who had previously been through the literature, done the work, and say, hey man, what do I got to do? And I think that made all the difference in the world. So that's been my experience on my arrival in AA at different times in my life, and why getting here after sufficiently being mangled by myself, that's what happened to me. Anyway, thanks for listening.